Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good week. We've been blessed in our family. My wife and I celebrated 15 years of marriage, so we got a little getaway and haven't been on here the last week or two, but excited to be back with you today. I hope this is a blessing for you. And as always, if you have prayer requests, comments, maybe even a testimony to share, if there's anything that's on your heart to share, please put those in the comments. We do read them. Whether they're on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else these might follow. We try to keep tabs on those and lift them up to the Father and give him thanks for the good things in our lives and pray with you in the situations in life where perhaps we need a touch from him. So today, just real quickly, I wanted to touch on a topic that we talked about at Mercy Collective this last weekend. And it's this dynamic that we see throughout all of Scripture, but it happens over and over and over again. From the very first chapters of the Bible, all the way back in Genesis, all the way through the very end, all the way through the book of Revelation, we constantly see the miraculous works of God and the message that they contain for us. There's a lot of people today in this world that we live in have inherited a doctrine of cessationism and believe that somehow, even though God was obviously miraculous in the Old Testament, he was obviously miraculous in the New Testament, and everything Scripture says about him is that he's the God of miracles. There are unfortunately a lot of people who don't believe that. I'm assuming if you're watching this that you probably see the error of that and don't hold those beliefs, but it's important for us to understand what miracles are and why they occur. And I think one of the best examples that we have in Scripture of God reaching outside of what we would consider to be normal and reaching in and disrupting the known universe of the time is found right in one of the earliest stories we read about the Messiah. Matthew 3 gives us the story of what's commonly referred to as the baptism of Jesus, the baptism of Yeshua. But it says in Matthew 3, verses 16 and 17, there's this amazing story. It says, as soon as Yeshua was baptized, he went up out of the water. Suddenly the heavens were opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and resting on him. And a voice from heaven said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. In this story, what we see here is the physical universe, literally the heavens, the sky opening up. We see this manifestation of the presence of God, the Spirit of God being poured out, and in this voice coming from heaven, the voice of God declaring over Yeshua the love that the Father has for the Son. And I think in all of this miraculous events and everything that's happening here reveals the very nature of why God has always performed miracles and why he continues to perform miracles today. And it's to declare who Yeshua is. It's to declare his love for Yeshua. You know, the perfect Father gives all the honor and glory to the perfect Son, and the perfect Son reciprocates honor and glory back to the Father. And here in this story, and this story is not unique, there's at least two other times in the Gospels where we hear these stories about the heavens being torn open, the known universe changing, and all of that being done so that who Yeshua is could be proclaimed either by the Father or by people who finally are understanding his heart, as was the case with the centurion at the crucifixion. But in this, we see this story. And it's something that, you know, especially in verse 17 here of Matthew 3, there's every single word is meaningful. But it says, and a voice from heaven said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. It was the voice of God speaking over Yeshua, saying that this is the one who I love. This is the one who brings me joy. This is the one who brings me pleasure. And that's the same reason why God has always worked miracles. It's so that his power and his authority as the creator and the controller of the universe can bring the universe into submission and into alignment to declare who Yeshua is. We see the same thing throughout the book of Acts, throughout really the entire New Testament, even when other believers are explaining and teaching about the power of God, explaining who Yeshua is, explaining their love for him. And in those moments, miracles happen. When miracles happen in Scripture, oftentimes it says that it was because of the compassion or the love or the mercy that Yeshua felt towards those around him that then moved him to perform, I guess would be the term, to perform a miracle on their behalf. He fed them, he healed them, he saved them, he forgave them. All of these miraculous things happened, and it always happened within the boundaries, if you will, of love. And so the nature of miracles isn't necessarily it's not an abnormal thing when it comes to the love of God. The love of God has always produced and compelled life-giving miracles. It was the love of God that compelled creation so that ultimately we would have a universe and a relationship with him. It was the love of God that saved his people. It was the love of God that delivered them out of Egypt. It was the love of God that provided for them during famines. It was the love of God that ultimately gave us Yeshua. And so every miracle that we read about in Scripture is a statement about the love of God. And in those moments in our lives where we're blessed to experience a miracle, and I want to be careful about this because technically every moment of our lives is miraculous. Every life is a miracle. So we're constantly in a miraculous universe, and we ourselves are miracles. But even in those moments where we have these experiences with what we think are normal, and then that's disrupted by something, it's because of the love of God. And it's to declare who Yeshua is. And in that, it's just such a powerful story. And it's incredibly humbling to realize that in some way, all of this, even this very universe that we live in, bends to the love of God. And it bends to declare who Yeshua is. The same way the Father here is breaking open the heavens to declare his love for Yeshua, we too should be breaking open our hearts. We should be breaking open anything that we consider to be a normative part of who we are and what we think we know to be true. We should break those things open for the adoration and the love of Yeshua. In doing so, we really partner and we share in the heart of the Father towards the Son. And so I hope whatever you're facing, that you find the miraculous in it, whether it's the miraculous of just your very existence or a literal breaking of even that reality toward the will and the heart of God. In all these things, our God is a God of miracles. He's never stopped performing miracles, and he's not going to stop anytime soon. So I hope you're blessed. I hope you're encouraged. If you have a need, if there's something going on in your life that we can join with you in prayer and in faith on, please let us know. We want to be the type of people who are supporting one another. We want to be the type of people who are extending the love of the Father to one another, who are seeking his perspective on all that we experience in this life. Be blessed. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the alert button, whatever platform you're on, hit the button so you can be notified next time we go live here. If you have a specific need that you want to reach out to us privately about, you can do that at mercycollective.org. But in all these things, the love of God is so much stronger than even the things that we think are absolute in this universe. And his love is being poured out to you. So God bless you. You are loved.